How's it going, people? It's Charlie and welcome back to a upload on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel once again. It's your post-match reaction, rant, moan about yesterday's 1-0 defeat at St Mary's against Southampton. 1-0 probably should have been about 3 or 4 to them, and I don't think I'd have complained at that. Leeds United, possibly the worst performance that I've ever seen under Marcelo Bielsa. I think that's a fact. 0 shots on target for the first time since March 2019, I believe. Is it worrying times? I still don't think it is, and I'll get on to the reasons why I don't think we need to worry just yet. That performance alone yesterday was not good enough at all. Again, we'll get into the reasons for that in a second. But as always, guys, please show some support on the channel by smashing a like on this video, and please subscribe if you're brand new as well. And yeah, let's get into the main part of the video then. So, where do I begin with the game yesterday? I mean, from minute one, I did watch it on a stream, and from minute one, we just weren't at it. Simple as that. With the ball, without the ball, tracking back, the press, the intensity, just wasn't there. And, you know, I knew kind of when I saw the lineup, if I'm honest with you, I still expected us to win, but I just knew it wasn't going to be a great performance. But I still expected the 3 points nonetheless. Obviously, noticeable absentees in this one. Obviously, we all knew that Bamford, Ayling and Koch were all out injured still. But Calvin Phillips missed the game. He was there in attendance, but he missed the game. I think that calf strain was still causing him some issues, but fingers crossed he will be back for Wolves next week. Rafinha was also at the game, but I think he made it back a bit too late from his international duty with Brazil in order to make the starting 11. I think even if we'd have just had him on the bench, he'd have been a huge difference maker in this game, but that wasn't to be. And you could just tell. I mean, you know, obviously Firpo as well, he missed the game, which meant that Dallas played at left back, which Dallas hasn't had the best of starts to this season, I will admit, but he's way more effective in midfield. I think we all know that. Firpo again has been a bit hit and miss, but we did miss him at left back. We really did. The only 2 players in the back 4 that actually played okay yesterday, and that's being generous, is Shax and Llorente. I thought Cooper had an absolute mare again, flying in with stupid challenges as he always does. Yeah, all you Cooper fanboys in the comments, you know, if you want to give me stick, you can give me stick, but that is the truth. I think Cooper proved that I was right to have doubts about him being in our starting lineup yesterday. I'm not saying he was the only player at fault, because believe me, the whole team was poor yesterday. But he certainly didn't help matters. And then Tyler Roberts in the midfield. I mean, I could do a completely separate video just ranting about Tyler Roberts, so I won't go in on him too much on this one. But all I will say is, why is he at this club? Why did we give him a 3-year deal? What does Bielsa see in him? Didn't look bothered yesterday. He just offers nothing to this team. He could score a hat-trick against Wolves next week, and I would still say the exact same. Whether it's as a sub, the games that he starts, he just offers absolutely nothing. And again, there's people online on Twitter and stuff that make excuses for him. Oh, he's young. He's only 22. Well, I'm not being funny. He's been at Leeds 3 years. He's been here since Bielsa's been here. He should be up to speed with the system now. When called upon as a sub, or if he starts games, he should be performing a lot better. Granted, I think he sees himself more as a centre forward, and he's asked really to play a centre attacking mid. But still, he should be up to speed now. He should know that he's probably going to play the majority of his games out of position and not up front. But he's still just not up to speed, and for me, he's stealing a living as a professional footballer. He can't even get a game for Wales, so that just shows, how much ability he really does have. Again, it wasn't just down to him yesterday. He was not the only one at fault. The whole squad was just not at it yesterday. But to be fair, I felt Southampton weren't anything special, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, they had a few half chances that were going over the bar and wide and stuff, but in terms of in possession, they played us out the park. And their goal was just, Leeds were actually on the verge of maybe scoring, or we were on the attack. Took the ball off us in their box. Within about 3 passes, they'd put the ball in the back of the net on the counter attack. And it was just that simple for them. We had a very, very poor day at the office. Like I said at the beginning, probably the worst game under Bielsa. The only one I can think that's a close second is Brighton away last season. But for me, that yesterday was bad. Like, very, very bad. Rodrigo just didn't look at it up front. Trying it with his flicks and just silly things when he had the ball, and just keep it simple, mate. And he just want Clicky. Clicky looked like he were trying, in fairness, but again, even some things he were doing just weren't working. Dan James worked his socks off. I thought if we had to pick a best player for Leeds, it would probably be him. He had that chance where he just put it wide in second half, where he jumped onto their lack of concentration at the back. If it hadn't been for the keeper, obviously being aware, I think he scores that goal. And we're getting to the point where I would have been delighted with a draw, which pre-game, as I said, I thought it was going to be 2-0. I thought we'd be comfortable in this game. Obviously, I didn't expect Firpo to be out. We'd not heard anything about him being injured or anything. So for Dallas to start at left back and see Tyler Roberts in the midfield, I was immediately concerned. And I hope, for the love of God, that next week we at least have 3 players that I can certainly think of back in this team. 4 actually, sorry. And that is Firpo. We need Firpo back at left back just so Dallas can go back into midfield with Click. We need Rafinha on that right hand side and either Dan James or Harrison on the left. Probably Dan James because Harrison had an absolute mare yesterday as well. And then we need Patrick Bamford up front instead of Rodrigo. Yes, Rodrigo has played well of late apart from yesterday, but Bamford for me walks back into this team, and even if Bamford doesn't score, you can just tell that we're a much better team when he's up front leading that line. The press, the intensity starts from Bamford up top, and obviously we need Calvin Phillips in that midfield role. We were getting run ragged in the centre of midfield yesterday, and you could tell that Calvin was not on that pitch. We completely lost the midfield fight as well. I did say in my preview that would be key, whether Phillips played or not. I'm not saying that Leeds would have won if Phillips was on the pitch, but I definitely feel like the performance would have definitely been a little bit better. Llorente, I thought he was alright as well. Strike had a shocker. Cooper wasn't great. Melier, apart from letting the goal in, didn't really have much to do, made a few saves. But, it was just an all-round bad day. Now, I've seen loads of people on Twitter since yesterday. That's why I'm kind of glad that I waited to do this upload today rather than yesterday, because I would have said a load more things that I don't really mean, and it'd have just been in the moment. But, you see people on Twitter after games saying, that they're concerned that there's a relegation fight on our hands, we're going to get relegated, all this shit. I don't think that's going to happen. if you think about it, yesterday we had a lot of key first team players out, which I'm not making excuses, but that's just facts. I think a fully fit 11 Leeds United team beat Southampton yesterday. I have no doubt about that. Southampton weren't great, as I said, they just caught us on counter, and we were that bad that we made them look good. And yeah, if KP's in the team, Ayling's in the team, we've got Fairport left back, we've got Dallas and Click in midfield, Rafinha on the right, Dan James or Harrison on the left, Patrick Bamford up front, Strike and Llorente as the centre-back partnership. I think we beat Southampton yesterday, personally. And the only saving grace and the only small positive that I can take is that we have those players to come back. Against Wolves, I expect, I doubt Ayling's going to be back. But to be fair, Shax has played well. It'll be a tough test for him next week against Wolves. They've got some pacey wingers and stuff, but I think he's up to the test. But apart from that, I expect Bamford to be fit, hopefully. But even if Bamford isn't, even if it is Rodrigo up front, if Rafinha's in the team, Rodrigo plays so much better. I expect Rafinha to be back. I expect KP to be back. And knowing how Leeds United are and how sometimes inconsistent we can be, we'll probably go and blow Wolves out of the park next week and beat them. That's just how we are. It wouldn't surprise me. I am a little bit more nervous for the Wolves game now, understandably. I just think we're really in a privileged spot that there is teams in this league that are much worse than us. I'm thinking Norwich, I'm thinking Burnley, even Watford. Watford started off okay, but I think they'll go down now. I think they were crap against us, and yesterday I watched them against Liverpool, and they didn't get a sniff at all. They were very, very poor. So I don't expect Ranieri to turn it round there, and I think they'll go down. So Newcastle maybe not as much now with takeover. They'll be signing players in the January transfer window. Southampton, I know that they beat us yesterday, but I expect them to be in and around that relegation fight. I don't think we will be. The only thing that concerns me long term is our strength in depth. We have no depth in this squad. If you look at the bench yesterday, yes, we had players out, but if you look at the bench yesterday, Adam Forshaw was our most senior player, and his appearance yesterday was his first Premier League appearance for Leeds. All the others were young lads, which, are capable of coming in and playing well. Joffrey Geldart, Somerville, Sam Greenwood, they are really good young players. But again, they're not up to speed in the Premier League. I'm not saying that they couldn't play well, but, we've got too many young kids on that bench. Whether they deserve it or not, we've got too many young lads on that bench. And even with a fully fit 11, if you look at his bench, if Bamford starts, for example, and Dallas is in midfield and everything, our bench is Tyler Roberts, who I won't even get into him, doesn't deserve to wear the shirt in my opinion. Tyler Roberts, Rodrigo, which, an alright option off of the bench is Rodrigo. Then you've got either Dan James or Harrison, which are good options. But then other than that, who have we actually got? Other than young lads? We need a central midfielder as backup. We need a CDM in case Phillips is out. And I mean a proper CDM. I'm not saying it should be a Declan Rice, because he won't come to Leeds, but a Declan Rice type player. We just need to invest some money in January. Radrizzani needs to put his hand in his pocket and spend some money in this January window, because if he doesn't, don't get me wrong, I don't think Leeds will go down, but it's going to be a tough old season if he doesn't. We're 8 games in, there's 30 games left, guys. All you saying that Leeds are going down, it's too early to say that. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's way too early to say that for me. I think if you look at where we are in January, February, that'll be a good indicator as to where Leeds United will finish. I've changed my opinion from the start. I did say Leeds would finish 7th, which I think we all know is not going to happen now. I would be very happy with anything from 11th to 14th, based on how it's going at the minute. And don't get me wrong, we could either change it round or it could get even worse. We don't know. But, we've got Wolves and Norwich next in the league. Whatever happens against Wolves, if we don't beat Norwich, then I will be concerned. I won't accept a draw at Carrow Road. We need to beat Norwich and we need to beat them well, for me. If we beat Wolves as well, then that's even better. But, Wolves have been hit and miss, so that could be a win, it could be a draw. I personally, there's just something in it. I don't think we're going to lose against Wolves now. I think with all these players yet to come back, at Ellen Road will give them a lift. Worst case scenario, I see a draw at Wolves. Not at Wolves, at home, but you know what I mean. And then a win at Norwich, and then it's, I believe, is it the international break then? No, we've got Leicester, and then it's the international break. So, Leicester will be in our game. They beat Scum 4-2, didn't they, yesterday, which was the only good part of my day, seeing that happen. But yeah, literally, I know we've gone down some weird tangents, and it's been a bit of a long sort of rant, but it's out of my system now. I hope it's out of all your lot systems as well. It's in the past, it's done, we can't change it. It was a really poor day at the office. 30 games left in this season, guys. Do not panic yet. We will be okay, as long as Radrizzani puts his money in his pocket and spends some money in January. Not saying we need loads of players. We need at least another 2 or 3 in January, I think. 2 as a minimum. And I think we'll be okay then. But, hit me up with your thoughts and your comments on yesterday's game, guys. There's probably going to be people that don't agree with some of the stuff I've said, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, but that was just my overall thoughts on yesterday, and some of the players who I just don't think are up to it at the moment. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, guys, please smash the like button. Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, and most importantly, please subscribe. We're nearly at 500 now, guys. If you could do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot, and I will see you in the next upload, people. Thank you very much.